Ambition, 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 ambition. Welcome back to Ambition. It's Tiffany. Woo! And the crowd screams, woo! Woo! And they throw rose petals on my feet. Woo! I'm really sorry. I do try to be normal, but one thing I've learned to do is to be my own hype woman. Actually, no, I do have another one, and that's my daughter. She's 2, but she's my hype girl. Whenever I wear something like a dress or something nice, she goes, "Oh, I like your dress, mummy. I like your dress." And the next she says, "Oh, can I have one?" And I'm like, "Mate, you're 2. Like, calm down." Whenever I have like a bright lipstick, like a red lipstick or deep pink lipstick, "Oh, I like your lipstick, mummy. Can I have some?" And I'm like, "No." But I can already tell that my daughter is going to be the type that's going to steal all my bags, steal all my clothes, and just take everything. So I'm really sort of preparing myself for those years. Oh, I know they're going to come back so quickly, come by so quickly. Anyway, guys, it's Tiffany on Ambition. So today's episode, I'm gonna have some fun, right? Because yeah, if you don't enjoy motherhood in some way, it's gonna be a big struggle, guys. So I try to always find the joy in things. And today I actually want to talk about 5 ways where motherhood or your children can actually become your muse and not your limitation. Because I thought about how hard parenting is, for mothers, for fathers. I mean, right now I'm on my second very, very, very strong coffee, which you guys probably have noticed by now. I drink out of a straw. That's because I'm trying to keep my teeth white. So I try to drink my coffee through a straw because I drink that much coffee. Anyway, so parenting is a lot of work. It's intense. We're in the trenches. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, especially when they're tiny and they need you a lot. But one thing I've started to also notice is that our perspective plays a huge part in like the journey, the experience. And for me, I'm always trying to sort of make lemonade out of the lemons, really. I'm always trying to think of how I could enjoy being a mom, or how can I lean into the joys more, the wonder that comes with having young children, the foolishness, the playing, the silliness, the role playing. I'm actually always trying to think of how I can make the most of that. And that's why in this season of life, especially, I've been thinking about how, what if motherhood can be the very thing that unlocks our potential. Can it be the thing that allows us to actually learn to live fully in chaos and to lean in rather than try to control the chaos? I'm not going to tell you that life starts when your kids become teenagers or they leave home, but can we build something whilst they're little, whilst they're toddlers, and they need snap times and snack times and all? So yeah, today I think it'll be really cool to share with you guys 5 ways in which my children have actually become my greatest source of inspiration and how they've been a muse for me and they're teaching me to maybe live a little bit more intentionally. Let's get started. Number one is that I find that children are natural connection catalyst. I've mentioned that I have a 2 and a 4-year-old. And one thing about my life in this chapter is that I speak to more people than I ever did in my entire life. Like everywhere we go, someone is talking to us. My kids are saying hello. They're like just always talking to someone. So because of that, I feel like children help you to break down social barriers quite a lot. And we talk to strangers, we speak to all our neighbors, speak to other teachers and we speak to teachers in school, we speak to other parents of other children, we just speak to everyone, speak to people on the train. I speak to like train conductors. The other day I was saying how we're on the DLR in London, and I was speaking to like the DLR. It's called a passenger agent, by the way, the person that checks your tickets. And did you know they have stickers, by the way? Again, that's something you find out when you have kids, and we start talking, going, "What are you doing?" And the kids want to know, "Oh, can we have a sticker? What's your name?" I think his name was like Dave or something, but that's just having kids. I love that their curiosity sort of opens doors to communications and conversations that I would never have had on my own. I'll give you another example. We were on the train going to London, and there was an engineer fixing the train, and he had a laptop with him. and he somehow connected the laptop to the train, and we walked past, and I said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I bet he thought, my job. But that's the sort of thing we want to do, because my son is, I was with my son who loves trains and interested in being a train engineer and a train driver. So I'm like, let's speak to this man. What are you doing? Can you explain to my son? But again, it's just the fun you have, your silliness, the questions you ask, and um, I think it makes life a little bit more fun. I feel that for me, it makes motherhood joyful because I'm getting something out of it. I'm getting these conversations. Um, I'll give you a couple of more examples. There's been times when we were again traveling to maybe London, and when we get to King's Cross, because we've spoken to conductor, they've now spoken to train driver and told them my son loves trains. He now gets to sit in a cab at the end of the journey. And we've done that several times. And I also remember when we went to Brussels in Belgium, and we spoke to the conductor. It was a different style of train, and he allowed my son to like blow this whistle thing that gets the train to move. And again, that was surreal. So yeah, I feel like children are natural connection catalysts, and I think because of that, they help us to see the world differently, to see that there is connection out there, that everyone, not everyone's a stranger, or they are still stranger dangers, but you know what I mean. Like you can still talk to people. We can be cautious, but we can still chat. And even another example, like I think children bring out the best in people. So I remember when we were in London, I took my kids to London, and we were on the train, and it was a busy time in London, but I remember lots of people were helping us with a pushchair, and people were talking to my son. And you'd expect London to be busy. You expect like it's a big city, everyone's got bills to pay, they ain't got time to chat. But actually, it was a really refreshing experience. I felt that people were really helping us, going out of the way to carry the pushchair down the stairs. And so, yeah, I do think when you lean in, you see how children bring that to your life, that sense of novelty and joy and connection and people and conversations. And I think that's really nice. That's really refreshing. It makes you to see the world as a good place that, no, it's not all bad. I know the news says it is, but actually, on a day-to-day basis, in our own little world, it's not all bad because we meet new people and we make new friends. Right, let's move on to number two. Number second way in which my children are my muse anyway, is that my children are amazing at being present. Oh, they're not concerned with time. I mean, when we go I was saying how I often take them to London Transport Museum, and we're there for average of 5, 6 hours. And I'm like, it's been 6 hours here, mates, children. But they're just like, driving the bus again, to the train again, pressing the same button again. It's magical. And obviously, again, I got life, I got things going on in my head. I'm thinking about work, I'm thinking about finish my project. When will I find that candidate? It's just life happening in my head, but they're just playing. They play. They don't care about the time. Which is why sometimes I have to have like timers. Okay, we're leaving the park in 10 minutes, guys. Timers on, so they know the countdown's coming. But I think, yeah, children are they're not concerned about anything. That's quite a nice experience, because I think, I don't know about you, but I'm busy adulting out here trying to think, when am I going to drink water? Got bills to pay at the end of the month, got work to do. When am I going to go to the gym? I'm concerned about what people think about me. When I'm going to, just so many things. My ambition, when we're going to get things published, are we going to develop a course, this and that? But my kids have none of those worries. They don't care about nothing but playing and being present. And just a natural state about, not anxious about the future or the past. They want to play all the time. Even when I've had a long day, they're still thinking, oh, mommy, let's play government. Let's play government. And I'm thinking, I'm stressed, but they want to play government. And that's a nice thing to be able to get poured into. And another way I've seen this play out in a beautiful way is that even when I'm away from my children, as long as they're with someone that they love, like obviously daddy or nana or grandma, granddad, my children are not so concerned about talking to me as such. They'll say, hello, mummy, when they're off to play or do whatever they were doing. And I realized that just because I miss them doesn't mean I need to get them on the phone for 10, 20 minutes. Like, And just because they're not coming to the phone to have a long conversation doesn't mean they don't love me or miss me. It's just that they're so present with what they're doing that they just want to continue doing that thing. And when I realized that, it was so useful for me, because now when I call my children, I'm away, the conversations are 2 to 3 minutes short. I just put like a silly object in my head, like a banana or something, and I start doing silly voices and silly noises, and they laugh and they giggle, and we leave it. Short and sweet is what they need. They don't need me, Lara. What are you doing? What have you been up to? Are you okay? Do you like? Do you? They're just like, why are you calling me again? I was trying to play over there with my boss. Um, but yeah, it's nice to see that, because I think it's just a reminder that they are present, and they don't worry about the future. And I think I'm learning a little bit, but that's hard to do, but it's nice. um, and also I think it shows you that they're secure, because even, for example, when I say, oh, I'm going to the gym or I'm going for a run, they look a little bit upset at the door. 2 minutes later, I'm told that they're fine. So I think we think that we're going to ruin them by having a life or being away from them. But again, they just go back to being playing. And the key thing is that they feel safe and secure wherever they are. And as long as you have that person with them that they also love and care about, it's fine. They're fine. Leave them to it. Number 3, their stories become my content and my community. So as you guys know, I used to hide being a mum. I did, talk about it on LinkedIn for quite some time. I think maybe the first 2 years of my life, or being a mum. It's only when we started my Ambition podcast that I knew I had to kind of, I suppose, expose myself as a mum. And that's been interesting. So, since my Ambition, building the community, connecting with other mothers and women on LinkedIn, talking about, what our kids do and connecting with women in that way, it's really shown me the power of how you can use motherhood to build a community. And not just even just motherhood. I think this sense of connecting with other people who are also mothers and also experience the same joys and chaos and challenges that you do, and realizing that we can really relate and connect over those shared experiences. That motherhood can be something that brings women together, and that's really beautiful. um you know, we started my Ambition, we're connecting with other women, we're talking about our experiences as mothers, we're all open about how many coffees we've drank that day, how tired we are. And now I'm at the point where, because of my content and the way we speak about my Ambition now, how the podcast is growing, I regularly connect with incredible women around the world, and often I will have coffee like conversations with them on Teams, and that's been really nice. I remember, was it Friday? Actually, I had 3 calls with 3 different women on LinkedIn that I've connected with, but we're commenting each other's posts, but we've never spoken, and it was like I know them. How insane is that? And how good is that for, like, even my mental health? I work remotely, I work from home. I don't know, like, I'm sure that has its own impact on my brain. And probably a little bit, probably quite lonely, but without really noticing it too much. But at the same time, I mean, I would choose this life over anything. I don't want to go to an office and be away from my kids for such a prolonged period of time and not be able to do my routines with them. But at the same time, there must be disadvantages of working from home and not having like a in-person team. So I think the connection I get from LinkedIn, the community we have on there, and the calls we get with other women has been really a saving grace. It's really brought so much joy to my life and makes me feel less alone. So yeah, I think, and a lot of that, as I mentioned, come through even posting about what my kids are up to. So sharing my children's everyday moments has actually been a foundation for building meaningful friendships. Who would have thought? Just talking about how my son, I don't know, it's always up to something deep and insightful. And the escapades of my daughter running around chasing people, or, reciting Julia Donaldson to them. But yeah, there's the simple ways in which people connect. It's been beautiful to see. My Ambition podcast, which obviously I feel like it's been a life-changing experience, because it's now become a platform to pour out everything, every aspect of my life and every experience, and live motherhood out loud. And that to me is a privilege. We're on, as I'm recording this, I think 83 episodes. I mean, the community, the women, the network, um, the calls I'm getting. And even when I think about it, sometimes I feel like it's therapy. It's saving me money. If I didn't have my ambition and this angle to my life, I think I'd be actually be a little bit down at times because I would think, with all the juggle and everything, I'd be tired and maybe a little bit anxious from it. But having this outlet of motherhood, being able to be spoken out loud, connecting with other women, it's actually saved me from having to see a therapist regularly, really. It gives me the support that I need for this this part of life. I remember actually, and it's like I said, the joys you get from it. And nothing beats that for me. Just being able, and I'm so glad that I got over that initial ick of posting about being a mum and posting about children, because like my children, because there was a time in life when I would have thought, oh, it's a bit much, but now I'm just like, it's quite nice to be able to talk about it. It's not for everyone, but hey, those who matter won't mind, and those who mind won't matter. Fourth point about the ways my children and your children could be your muse. I feel like being a mum and motherhood forces clarity through constraints. Let me say that again. It forces clarity through the constraints. Since I've become a mum, I look back on my pre-motherhood days and I think, what did I do with all the time? Like, what did I do? Like, did I just and I think about all the time I say, I'm busy, I don't have time to do that. And I'm like, really? No, I'm like, girl, you were lying. You had time. I could have done anything. I don't know, I could have done more. But anyway, it's only because you have that comparison. That's why you think that. But, now for me, I feel like having less time, it's been a blessing just because now in my mind, I've closed down all my 47 browser tabs of possibilities and I'm only leaving the one or two that are actually possible open, the ones that I can actually put my heart and mind to, my time to. So I definitely have a lot more of a laser focus, because I always say it, you can be anything, but you can't be everything. So I feel like that constraints of motherhood and time is creating clarity rather than actually limiting my potential. And not to be a bit, I mean, it might sound a bit much, but I think about bucket list. But like, why do people create bucket list? They create bucket list because when times feels limited, that's when we take action, or that's when it feels more urgent to do things that are meaningful. That's when we're forced to think about what we want. We don't think about it naturally as human beings. We just go around like, "Ooh, we've got all the time in the world." It's only when we're forced to act. It's only when we're forced to rethink time and this a sense of urgency, a sense of, oh, I need to get meaning out of this. That's when people create bucket lists. And I feel like there's a kind of similar thing going on with motherhood. When time feels endless, we don't act, we don't follow our goals because we want to, because we've got time in the world. We do it because something forces us. We're like, oh, got to do something now. And I feel like that's what motherhood gives you. And children, I feel like this stage of life creates that urgency and it cuts through the noise. And you actually think, what really matters? What's the one or two things I can do really well, I'll enjoy doing, and I want to do? And you're forced to finally do that. Because I don't know, and especially we had this conversation with someone, I can't remember who, there's been a couple of people who've been on my ambition and spoke about this idea of, I think Kate said it, Kate Renford Folks said it as well. She said how she felt like there was so much she could do, start business, do this, do that. And I'm like that as well. I mean, not to like bang my own drums or anything, but I feel like I'm a bit of a multi-hyphenate in terms of, I feel like there's a lot I can put my mind to. I don't know. I could do marketing if I put my mind to it because, I can learn quite quickly. I love talking to people. I can write content. I'm a great communicator. I'm quite good at sales. I'm confident enough to put myself out there. So I think when you feel like there's so many things you can do, it's hard to choose a thing you can do. And sometimes the possibilities actually make you do nothing because you're scared of making the wrong choice. What if it doesn't work out? I've got to start again. But with motherhood and knowing that you have limited time, actually have to choose. And it gives you that focus, that intensity on one or two things. You burn your other bridges. You're like, nah, we're not going back that way, Jose. We're going this way now. So don't look back. Those bridges are burnt. I'm just checking out. Look at my muscles. Sometimes I'm just like, where'd you get all these broad shoulders from? Guys, I am wearing clothes, by the way, just to show you. It's just that, this stage of motherhood, I just don't always have time to wear like, like formal clothes anymore. It's all about like sportswear. So it's actually like a gym shark sports bra. But that's kind of where life is for me at the moment. This idea of just wearing something that's easy, sporty on a day-to-day basis so I can get ready really quickly. I don't have to think about it. So yes, I am wearing clothes, okay? I'm not recording this like half naked or anything. Well, probably, whatever. So yeah, going back to that, it's just, you got to burn the bridges sometimes. And until you burn the bridges, that's when you can actually show up as you and show up with some intensity. Like for me now, my main thing is my career, my recruitment career. And my ambition. That's it. I'm not trying to learn how to. Before I used to think, oh, I want to learn a new language. And don't get me wrong, I'm open to learning new things. But because I have a kind of a basic understanding of German, for example, or somewhere in my life in life I wanted to be fluent in German. And don't get me wrong, I kind of do. But right now, do I want to? Do I really need to? No. And it's okay. Like I've accepted that. So I'm not going to go off spending 2 or 3 hours a day on that when I know it's not quite my thing. I'd rather spend that time on my ambition, my content on my ambition, recording episodes like this, which I just really, really love. It's actually become a bit of a passion project for me to showing up to do this. And yeah, I think being a mom has helped me to just get on with that. Just be a bit more deliberate with my choices. Number 5 way in which my children has become my muse and not a limitation. Becoming a mom, having children has changed my perspective on love and the notion of forever. I think now I'm much more. I look at those concepts a lot more fluidly, because when I look at my children and I'm pouring my love and attention and sanity and focus and commitment into like these 2 little people, but I'm doing it knowing that one day they'll be independent and be their own person. I'm not doing it because they're going to stay with me forever. The plan is to do it so that they can be incredible people and be stable and well enough and strong enough and independent enough and happy enough, right? To face the world and face whatever they have to face, even after I'm gone. And that's interesting. So I'm not doing it because I want to keep them. I'm doing it because I want to let them go eventually. And that's quite scary, but it's also quite refreshing. And it kind of makes me think about love and, you know, love and the power of letting go in love. And I'm not going to get too deep here, but I hope you can see where I'm coming from. And, it's like I have to look at them and be okay with that reality because right now, I mean, my kids like everything. They are mummy, mummy, mummy every 5 minutes. But as I get older, I mean, I have a 2 and a 4-year-old. So my son's now 4. He's starting to like put on his coat. He's starting to reach the lights, like the light switch. I mean, just yesterday, I feel like he couldn't. And now he can switch the lights on by himself without stepping on something. He did that the other day. And I thought, that's scary. Just this morning, he was at the kitchen counter, like making a sandwich and cutting the bananas. And I thought, oh, doesn't need a step anymore. He used to need a step. He used to need a step. I'm like, I'm not ready for you to not need a step. Another thing my son does is he can talk to Alexa clearly and she understands him. Just yesterday, he used to try to talk to Alexa and she used to be like, I don't understand, or I don't know what Alexa say, or like just ignore him because he used Alexa, Alexa. Now it says Alexa. And it's frightening things that children do that show you that they are slowly but surely becoming more independent and surely, will having friendships and surely loving other people and surely finding love around them and in family and friends and not just you. And we have to be, I have to be okay with that. It scares me, but that's ultimately the goal. So one day they'll be functioning adults. They will change the world, love people, make an impact somewhere, however small, however big. They'll one day love someone else and, want to spend their life with that person. And and it's taking the love I've given them into that person and into themselves. It's just, man, it's just scary. I'm like, please. But that's where we're going. So for me now, I think, well, yeah, love is not attachment. Love is the freedom to love them and build them up for that independence, and to love myself whilst I'm loving them. Because one day they won't be with me, and who will I be when they're not there? There's people that need me all the time won't be there. And what will I feel about myself? Would I feel less of a person because they're not around? No. And will I want to follow them around the world because I need them with me to feel complete? No. I'll have to let them go. Oh, I'm not ready. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. I'll be singing things to them. They'll be like, "Mommy, stop it, weirdo, mommy." But yeah, it's just, oh man, I know, I'm thinking too far ahead, but I think it just kind of makes me think about how I'm going to live this chapter to make that chapter possible, that empty nest possible, and be a complete person, so that when they go, I don't feel like they've taken a piece of me with them, but they're just going, and I'm here and I'm fine. I'm still complete. And that's something I think about, just so that I can build myself up for that as well. So when they do go, I'm like, yay, I'm happy for you. I'm sad, but you be well. And we'll, they'll call me, I'll call them, we'll meet up all the time. But it's just knowing that, yeah, you're your own person now. You're independent. You're strong enough to make decisions. You're hopefully wise enough. Hey, so yeah, it's nice, and yet we don't know back as mothers, do we? And fathers, we still pour ourselves into them. We pour everything into them. We don't say, oh, you know what, I'm going to give you less because you're going to leave anyway. No, we pour even more. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And even how they form attachments outside of you, into families and friendships. Like the other day, my sister was around, and my daughter was like, "Auntie Daphne, push the pushchair." And I'm like, mate, I was just about to push it, but she doesn't want me to do it. She wants Auntie Daphne. When my sister's here, Auntie Daphne, they want her to read bedtime stories. They want to cuddle with her. And I'm like, I could feel lonely or sad, but actually I'm like grateful for it. I'm grateful that they feel safe in their attachment with me to explore other attachments. It's not mean they love me less. It just means that they are learning to navigate love. And I don't have to be their everything. And it's the space for them to grow and explore those relationships that makes them balanced and well. And they trust that I'll always be here, so they can come back whenever they want to, whenever they've done whatever they're doing over there. So it's not like they don't need me. It's actually I've built someone who's confident enough to connect with other people. It's not like I'm being replaced. It's like I've created a security that allows them to explore. It's not like I need to be involved. I should be involved every second. It's just like I'm stepping back, and it's a gift to them. Oh man, but it's hard to accept sometimes, but it's a good thing. I see the sort of the long-term benefits of that. So yeah. So that's what I got for you guys for today. I'll take another sip of coffee because coffee, eh? The juice of motherhood. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. I have anyway. So I think the main thing is I enjoy myself, and then the rest will come. The crowd will come. Have fun, and then the crowd will join the fun. So yeah, I think it's I don't say all this to undermine the challenges of motherhood and obstacles. And I know there's different types of motherhood as well. Some are single parents, some don't have a village or anything. So it's hard to find maybe those moments of joy. I do get that. But hopefully I can sort of help you to shift your perspective to maybe see something different today. And in the season, I think it's how you can not just survive motherhood, but thrive. Not wait for your real life to start when they're older, but understand that right now your perspective is important. Your children and motherhood is not just pausing your story. It's actually writing some incredible chapters. Your children are not your limitation. They are your muse. You can choose to live fully in this beautiful chaos. I mean, and when I mean chaos, I mean child on my lap, one finger typing. The other day, my daughter's grabbing my hands and banging on my laptop, and I'm trying to send an email. So that's what I call the beautiful chaos. Not waiting for it to end and they go off, and then the empty nest comes, and you can finally be yourself and be free. But showing you that who you're meant to be right now, chaos and all. Guys, it's been real. Thank you so much. If you've enjoyed this episode, like, share, comment, tell someone else. And even if you haven't, still tell someone, because, tell them what you didn't like about it. All right. It's been a pleasure. See you on the next one.